at the end of those episodes.
Oh.
All right.
Let's see what you got here. Should be coming on here, DH.
Yep, I'm refreshing. Second, I'm going to refresh again. Showing up, coming. We are live, DC. So whenever you want to do the intro, we'll get this one started.
We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Hey, everybody. This is 80s music video and fashion model Lori Tucker, and you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s with your awesome hosts, DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So, guys, take it away. Hey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
Hey, I am DC.
And we have an amazing show tonight,
Oh, it's going to be fantastic, buddy.
It is this show I've been, it's one of those that I've been looking for.
We've been waiting for it. Yeah.
We've talked about this
yes,
weekly, kind of what's been going on there. So we are so excited. DC, I don't care how your week's been, brother.
We're closer to Christmas break, brother.
Right.
We're closer to Christmas break.
And your
kids are crazy.
Breakfast.
Right.
It's all good.
The kids are crazy and the teachers are crazy, so it's time to get out for a little break. There you go.
Yes. It's time to call Jerry Calhoun from the Memphis Wrestling Show.
That's right. That's right, man. No, we are just honored to have let's let Mandy in. Let's not miss her out on the intro as well.
Just in time.
Yeah, so we'll let her get all situated here, and we'll introduce everybody at the same time. How about that?
Yes. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
Hi, Mandy.
Thank you for joining us.
How are you guys?
All right.
Mandy.
Okay?
Hey, Polly.
Mandy. You gave and you gave without taking.
I love the words.
Oh. No, we are honored to have our good friend Paul Carafotes. We mention his great organization every
Vooch
show.
In the house.
The Vooch is in the house tonight. So we're honored to have him back with us. And we'll talk more about all these great organizations that are going on with this project. And we're just honored to have him back. And along with Mandy Del Rio, who was the designer of this special book that we're going to focus in on tonight, and a special guest of honor himself, Bill Damabrowski. And he is.
Why did you let Bill say his name? So
that's probably better.
You butchered it, DC.
I butchered it. What's new?
Bill Dombrowski.
Hey, we'll get it.
Bill's got it.
There we go.
Bill and I've already connected. He's going to replace you, DC. You just don't know it yet.
That sounds awesome. Bill, welcome aboard. That's for sure. So,
thank you for having me.
No, we're honored to have all you guys. We appreciate you taking time with us, and it's going to be a special show for sure. And my friend Paul there, go ahead and kind of get us started with how this project came about.
Well, I basically was retired, see, and I was sitting out in the back having a nice cigar, and somebody, having been on Knots Landing, that was really quite a thrill. And this is when, I've been in movies like All the Right Moves and Heading for Broadway Choices, lots of stuff. And there was a certain modicum of fame that came along with that, but nothing quite prepared me for being on Knots Landing. And that was like, wow. I mean, people were stopping their cars in the street, Minnesota Viking guys were getting out, picking me up. My wife wants to meet you, and, drag me across the street or into bars. It was very, nothing really gets you ready for that stuff, but it was really enjoyable, I have to say. And, it's a long time now since that show's been on, but it's been playing all over the world for 30 years, So what happened is that, there's like 40, maybe even more Knots Landing groups on Facebook and Instagram, all these just shoot offs from different groups and people in Germany and England and France, and we got them in the States, many of them. And there was a friend of Bill's, and that's interesting because I am a friend of Bill's, but there was that's an inside joke, folks.
His name was also Dave, Paul.
Dave.
Another Dave. Yeah.
Another Dave. Okay,
Yeah.
well, there you go. We have Bills and Daves. We're loaded up, boys. So I got a message on one, and I interact with the fans. I've joined a few of these groups, and it's a good place to promote the books and what's going on, because I do continually 2 or 3 times a year get a new job, and I'm doing a show like, say, Tulsa King, or I just finished Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt. So there's stuff to get out there, and the books especially, because that's started with my son, the birth of my son. You guys know the story, and when Charlie was born, my life changed, and suddenly I knew who I was. I mean, I wasn't an actor, or trying to be famous or any of those things. I was a dad. I was this child's dad, and I waited a very long time for that to happen to me. So when this occurred, I took this very seriously. The father, he went everywhere with me, and I read to my son, and I read to him. I played the guitar. So the reading thing was a complete bonding. What's the word? Come on, Paul. It bonded me to him in a way that nothing really else does, because when they're babies, they just react. They get hungry, they want the bottle, they want the nipple, or you have to change their diaper, and they laugh, or they just roll around, and they're just little chubby beings and lovely, and we love them, and we want to eat them. You know what I mean? It's like the intensity of that is like I could eat his poo-poo, and his mother went back to work, so he was with me night and day. From 5 o'clock in the morning till when his mom would get home 8:30 at night. So, I sang and played, and we read, and I'd take him on walks, I'd take him to auditions with me, whatever. So we were bonding, and there was something very visceral about the idea of reading to him. And, I blew the bubbles off my tongue when he was a baby, and that was his first sort of like, oh, and his eyes lit up, and he was grabbing for the bubbles. And so I put him down for a nap, and I went to my computer where I write and daydream, which I did all through my life, about being in the movies and on television. And here I was daydreaming, looking out down at the LA skyline. And I thought about, geez, Charlie, and why he really liked the bubbles. Charlie Bubbles. Wow, I like the way that sounds. And so I thought, well, what if and I was reading to him. And the problem was for me was that, you read these books over and over again, and some of them are not very good. They're like, Silver, and the fish is this, and and of course there are very good ones too. Like, there's a few that are classics to me, all the Dr. Seuss books. And also, Love You Forever was one of the ones I read a lot to him, which I liked reading because it had a story, that I enjoyed reading to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I had the idea that I'd like to write something that parents would like, as well as because children are repetitive. They want to hear it again. Read the story again, Daddy. You want to go to bed now. You've been with them for 20 hours. You're just dying. You're going, will this kid ever go to sleep?
Where's the Benadryl when you need it?
Oh, yeah. Leave a shot of whiskey like my grandmother used to do. Boom, take this. I'll see you in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't doing that because I'm a sober guy. So that wasn't happening. But that was the genesis of the whole thing. Now, I only thought that I wrote this first book, The Adventures of Charlie Bubbles, for him as a gift to my son, to, at some point in his life when he would be married and have children of his own, he would read the book to my grandchildren and say, this is, So it was like a family heirloom that he would be able to pass along. I did not ever think for a million years, because it was very difficult to write the first one. It took 5 years. I thought it was easy, like I think everything is, especially marriage.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I've done that 3 times. So you can see, my old man used to say to me, just keep doing it till you get it right. And so hopefully I got it right. Anyway, so and that was it. But the part of the Charlie Bubbles writing and the idea behind it was that to say yes to life, because when you say yes, anything's possible. If you say no, nothing's going to happen. And the other thing was that was the tenets of Charlie Bubbles was to be helpful, loving, and kind. Those are the 3 real major tenets of each book. Show courage, friendship. You want a friend, you got to be a friend. These kind of I was trying to instill in my son, and most of the books now have come from something that happened between us in our lives that I thought about writing a story, and I didn't think I'd do any more than the one book. And then I gave it to several like friends of mine. James Gandolfini comes to mind because I showed it to Jimmy and he read it and he was just knocked out that I wrote this children's book because we were 2 madmen running around Hollywood, bar fights, girls, and going to Mexico. And he was a very sensitive man, that people don't really know. And so this connected to us at another level. And then Joe Montaigne and many friends of mine that are in the business got behind it, and so it did very well. The first, he said, "You got to put this out. Don't just make the book the one copy and give it to Charlie. I'd like my kids to have it. And I was pretty touched by that. So the day came for book number 2. And because I'm very musical, I had this idea that music brings us all together. Music is something that connects. Doesn't matter what's going on in your life, boys, girls. You could be in some other country. Doesn't matter. That you can be struck emotionally by music. And so I thought the second book I wanted to have Charlie play the drums, the bongos, and he gets the ants, the Smartsville. So the second book is called Charlie Bubbles to Smartsville, and ants are very smart, and they work together. And this colony of ants, there's no joy; they're joyless. They don't, So the queen sends out her loyal subjects to bring things back to the colony to see if this could bring some joy to her people or her ants. And they would take anything, they would pick up a piece of watermelon and bring it back, a spoon and bring it back, and so Charlie's playing the bongos in his room and there's a caterpillar dancing on the windowsill. Suddenly the ants show up and take the caterpillar and off they go. So this book, Charlie, my son, is a little older now. It's like 2 years later. So he's like 7 years old. And I just said, the first book, it just happens to him. It's happenstance. He blows this bubble, discovers that he can blow a bubble, and the bubble is magical and takes him on this adventure. And who will he meet? What will happen to him? Now, consciously, Charlie, the character, Charlie Bubbles, has to make a conscious decision to say, I got to go help my friend. I got to be a friend here. I got to go find him and rescue the caterpillar. Now, the caterpillar is very significant because it's, caterpillars transform into beautiful butterflies. So meaning that we are struck by things in our lives and we will transform to be better, to be a better husband, brother, sister, friend. Okay. But the musical aspect of it was Charlie was playing the bongos, and when he gets captured and taken back to Smartsville, and he's there with Ty. I'm sorry, not Ty, but a couple of the other characters from the original book. And they're gonna, if you can't produce any joy for the colony, they're going to put you in the boiling oil and they're going to eat you. So they captured 3 beetles along the way, and they are up there and they're trying to perform, and they're not making very good sounds. So Charlie says, I think I know what they need. They need a drummer. And he gets up there on the drums, and it's antimonium. Suddenly the ants, they're rejoicing. They rush the stage. So it's very connected to me with Beatles. This is, so this is sort of how the progression of the stories. Now, the third book, which was Charlie Bubbles the Fenway, Charlie's a big baseball fan. He's playing college baseball right now. And he was always a big Red Sox fan. So he had come downstairs and said to me, Dad, is there going to be another Charlie Bubbles book? Now, I just explained that say yes, anything's possible. If you say no, nothing happens. So I couldn't very well say no, although I wanted to. But I said, yes, there's going to be another book. But what's the book going to be about, Charlie? You're going to have to help me on this book. And without blinking an eye, he said Charlie Bubbles to Fenway, because he wants to be a Reds. He wanted to grow up and play with the Red Sox. Yeah. So that he got his first credit on that book, as it was his idea for that story. And we ended up going to Fenway. I've been in the movies and television for many years by this point. I never got invited to Fenway Park. I'm from Boston. But the book got us into the dugout on the field at Fenway, and we were sitting with Big Papi, from the Red Sox. Everybody knows him, Big Papi. Yeah. He loved it. We signed autographs and gave a book to everybody on the Red Sox. But the funny thing was that Charlie was leaning over to me and going, Dad, I go, what is it, Charlie? He goes, I'm thinking, I said, look at us sitting here with Big Papi. Look, you're at the dugout, Fenway Park. My whole life I came to Fenway Park and never got anywhere near this, And he said, can you have to bring out Dustin Pedroia? And I said, shut up and smile for the camera. Shake hands with Big Papi and ask him for one of his bats. Wow. Anyway, so that ended, and there was I lost my illustrator at that point. And so there was a little break. So we had done a CD. I wrote a bunch of songs with the characters, and we have that out called Sing with Charlie Bubbles or Under Paul Carafotes. And last year we had a couple new Christmas songs, which I love. And, Charlie's performing with me, singing on some of the tracks, so this was a father and son continuing the bonding experience from the reading. Okay. During the pandemic, and I know I'm going on here, but I'm giving you sort of this will lead up to Bill and Isabella and Mandy, because this is all connected. So during the pandemic, I know it was a very horrible time for a lot of people. But for me and my family, it was one of the best times, because we did everything together. We played games. We made up games. Charlie was making up, his own, what's the Alex Trebek, Charlie would make his own categories, and we would have and then we were playing basketball. We were filming everything. We were doing games and filming it. And Charlie had a little YouTube channel at the time, and he was putting up these little videos. He's very embarrassed by it now, and I think he took it down, but they're fantastic. They're just all of us together, loving being together. So it was a great time. And during that time, I wanted, I had him hitting balls every day. We're hopping fences to go hit ground balls to him. At this point, I'm like, 61, and I'm jumping over fences. I need a knee replacement. I've had a shoulder replacement. I'm trying to just work the kid, get him, So we're breaking the law. We're jumping over, fences to get into baseball fields so we can practice. And I was getting a little tired of all of this. And I said to him, you have a project. You're going to write a book, a Charlie Bubbles book. And he looked at me and he said, well, what's it going to be about? This was my turn now. And I said, we just got our little Xena, the little Morky Pool, that little dog. And I said, why don't you write a little story about Xena and keep it in the same idea and framework of Charlie Bubbles, right? So he did it, and we put that book out, and that's done very well. That's a really great book, and that this continues. And then I always wanted to write a Christmas story. And so I wrote Search for Santa last year. And I thought I was kind of finished. I thought that this is the end. We started the charity, the 501c to raise money. And, that's a lot of work, as you guys and Mandy, and I'm sure Bill knows, because Bill has Hearts for Isabella. And it's a lot of work to continue to pour your energy and time into something. And I keep looking for a corporate sponsor that you can write a check, and then I don't have to worry that in 6 months I got to go ask everybody for some money so that we can keep giving the books. And the idea behind it was to give the books away. Okay, so I'm sitting around smoking a cigar. And I think I'm pretty much done writing Charlie Bubbles books. My son is now 18. He's playing in college. He doesn't really, he's a little shy about the Charlie Bubbles thing. And I'm thinking, well, how can I get this going? Because I'm hoping that maybe he would pick up the mantle, which he still may, but and I didn't have anything to write about. I kept thinking, well, I've written 5 stories now, 6 stories. We've done the CD. We have the YouTube channel. We've made videos. I was kind of at a loss as to what the next story would be. And I had a few ideas, but nothing really knocked me out. Now, Knots Landing, this tribe of people all over the world keeps me sort of involved in a certain degree. And one day, there's a guy, Dave, who is in one of the chat rooms for the show, sent me a note saying, "Hey, Paul, this is Dave." Yeah, Dave. And he goes, "I have a friend, Bill, and he really wants very much to speak to you." And can't remember now. Bill could probably chime in, but I didn't know I didn't know the story, like what was coming. Okay, so and I'm pretty, like I said, I'm pretty accessible, and somebody wants to say hello, okay. So he arranged a phone call for Bill and I to talk, and so when I got on the phone with Bill, Bill started telling me about Isabella. And, of course, your heart, is thumping, and you go, wow, what an unbelievable thing to have happen to a family. A beautiful little girl's born. She has half a heart. She has this malady that, I mean, what do you do? What can, what I mean? It's like, my God. So then he comes up with, out of the mouth of, he says to me, would you mind, Charlie Bubbles sort of fits like the story or the tenets of Charlie Bubbles with, and I'm listening to him and I'm going, what's this guy trying to get at? And then he just goes, would you consider writing a story, a Charlie Bubbles book about my daughter? And first thing was, wow, that we don't know each other. And he's asking me, because I'm very close with Charlie Bubbles, my son. I mean, I've had this life with my boy and created this magical journey. And that somebody who's had this, like his soul punched out of him, asking a complete stranger, would you write a book? It's a tall order. I mean, I didn't know how to really react in the moment, but it wasn't too long, Bill, was it? I mean, I mean, I said, let me think about it, or I can't remember. Like,
it was like 2 weeks and you had it written.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So I was motivated, and it's what I need in my life, is a little direction and a little motivation, and we can do it. But I was just floored that he would even ask me, you don't know this person. You don't know really what he's been through. I can imagine, although it seems like a horror story to me, that, you would, the families, can you imagine this? And it was very difficult. And the actual problem for me was that, how do you end the story? Because, you know what I mean? We know how the story ended. But in the magic of Charlie Bubbles, how can I help other families, not just, giving the book to his family, but what can we do that anybody else is going through grieving and whatever happens, we all have to go through this. And to actually use the vehicle of Charlie Bubbles as actually a helpful instrument on whatever level that may be. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, what a great thing. It's just like, on what level can you make the story so that it has all the things that Charlie Bubbles has throughout each story, but the fact that he can connect and be helpful and give his part of his heart to her, not to Isabella because she's gone, but his heart to who's reading the story, and whoever's going through any of this kind of grieving thing could draw from. I give this book out to a lot of children in the park. I take my dogs twice a day to different parks in the city, and I see kids playing, and I'll go up and I'll take the book out of my car, and then I walk away. Now Bill be able to talk more about this and what I'm saying here, because I always have, because Bill had said to me, and he goes, it is kind of a grieving thing, and it's a very difficult, even for him, I believe. And I'm not talking for you, Bill, but you did mention to me that it is, because it ends the way it does, it does, it is a little trepidation of how we promote it or how we present it. Present the story of a girl who's got this disease, who's got to go to the hospital. And I thought, like, okay, I can put together a little Hark the Herald Angels, you know what I mean? It's like a little bit of like, you got to have God, we need God. And but if there is a God, how does this happen to somebody? But then Charlie Bubbles, the magic of Charlie Bubbles comes and is soothing to her. And he's going to carry on. He's going to actually take some of what she has and bring it forward too. So it's a combination of the two. I hope I explained that right. I don't know, but Mandy and Bill will take it over now.
So Mandy, how did you get into the project, and what was your emotions about the project?
Well, initially, I do believe in fate or a higher power brings people together for a reason. It's the oddest thing how we came together on this and how I kind of fell into this with Paul, which I'm so thankful that it did happen the way it did. My husband had watched Knots Landing the first time around. I didn't. And recently we don't really watch anything new. We can't really get into new TV or anything. So we stick with the classics. And we started watching Knots Landing because he said, you'll love this show. You gotta, let's watch it. Let's watch some old episodes. And of course I got hooked on it because it is an amazing show. And whenever my husband and I watch anything together, we like to look up, if an actress stands out, or if, I know them from somewhere, where do we know them from? We'll look them up together. And Paul definitely stood out as Harold Dyer. He was just amazing.
Oh, you say the sweetest thing.
It's very true. It's very true.
Don't worry, the check is in the mail.
Hey, can I get one of them? Because DC never pays me. Can I get one of those checks?
Yeah. I'll give you one of my $1.16 from the show.
Hey, that'll work.
$2.35. Yeah,
that's $1.16 more than I had when I started, so I'm good.
All right.
So we found Paul Carafotes, and I looked him up, and in addition to all of his acting credits, which I was familiar with all the right moves, and that scene was very funny. I also saw that he started writing a series of children's books, the Charlie Bubbles books, and I thought, wow, that is really cool. How amazing is that? He's an actor. And he's also putting his heart and his soul into this children's book series, and based on values that he wanted to, pass down to his child.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's really great. Yeah, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. So I just thought that really touched me, seeing that he did that. So I started following him on Instagram, and he reached out to me to see if I knew anyone, or if I had small children. He'd like to share the books with me. And I do. My husband and I have a video and film production company. We do documentaries, and for a news network. And Paul said maybe somebody.
Very, very good documentaries, by the way.
Thank you.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Your check's in the mail too. Thank you.
And I'll take one of those also, please.
Yeah. You got to watch the documentary first.
Right.
No problem. I can do that.
She's got several of them. She could tie you up for a few days.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a break coming up. We're on a 2-week break coming up from school, so just send me the information.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll watch those for sure.
Okay, great. Paul told me about this new book that he was working on, which was Charlie Bubble's Braveheart. And he told me, there it is, exactly. And he told me what it was about. And he, we immediately pretty much hit it off. We were going back and forth with each other. I think we talked on the phone. The first time we talked to each other was like 2.5 hours. We're just very
well, you know that I have a lot to say.
Yeah. We have a lot in common too. We had a lot in common. He has 4 sisters. I grew up with 4 brothers. It was just this weird, we were raised
connection. Yes.
Yeah, we were raised with similar values, and so we really connected. And when he told me about this Braveheart, I was really interested in learning more about it. And I don't know if you want to tell them about the illustrator or anything like that. Like, why?
Well, yeah. Okay. So I'll just cut in here. Cut to Paul. I had a first illustrator, lost him. Then I had a young girl I hired from baseball practice with Charlie a couple of years ago, and she did 2 books. And they were, and Charlie's book and the Christmas book. And they were excellent. She was fantastic, illustrator. She was very young, like 19 years old, 20 years old. So all of us that know I have an 18 and a 17-year-old, and that's very difficult to manage, if you know what I mean. They seem to know everything. You can't tell them. In fact, I have a lot of conversations at the dinner table saying, I want to tell you that, oh, you already know.
I remember those.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
Sounds
couldn't.
familiar.
I had a 3-book deal with her, and she made all these demands, and I couldn't afford it. I couldn't, so I had to decide how would we get this done. Enter Mandy. Mandy and I were discussing all these things, and same as Bill, I guess, asking me if I would write a book. I said to Mandy, do you want to help illustrate and get this thing off the ground with me? Take it away, Mandy.
Yes. And I was, first off, completely honored that he asked me to do that. It was such an honor. And when I read, he sent me the story, and it brought tears to my eyes. I was immediately hooked on this. I wanted to help in any way I possibly could with Isabella's story. And so that's how I basically was kind of fell into this. And
she was doing this, by the way, with trying to, she also has a business making documentaries. And I'm not one to sit around. I keep making the phone calls going, where are we? How come I haven't seen anything? I have to see stuff.
I know.
So I was cracking the whip.
In the nicest way possible. But But I understood the mission. We were on the same page. I wanted to do this, you know, in a timely
It was
manner.
very difficult. It was very difficult because, yeah, and it was very difficult to do it because we did not have an illustrator. We had to use, we had to take images from the book. We did a little AI stuff on it, but Mandy she had complete control of that. She'd send me stuff and I'd say, no, no, no. Or that doesn't work, or we got to bring this other picture, and I'd send her stuff, and she was the one putting this, she was doing it, and I was just,
Well,
and so Bill, you owe Mandy a big debt of gratitude there, because really, I mean, you would have just.
Thank you, Bill. No, I'm again, it was an honor for me to work on this, and I'm an artistic person. Anyone, I told Paul this at one point. I did want to be a children's book illustrator, in addition to many things, because again, like Paul, I've wanted to do many, many things. I don't.
Yeah, we're jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of different things. Oh, totally. A lot. I know a lot of things and not a lot about one thing, So,
Right.
But
it's an old saying, and I'll say
I'm
this:
artistic minded anyway. So this was really this was just perfect. This was perfect for me, and then it was hard for time wise, but we did get it done, and it was, again, I'm so thankful.
Bill, you're the man of the hour here. Talk to me about getting this project completed and how you feel about that, the accomplishment of that. What you set
Bill,
out.
Where did you get the balls to ask me to write a book? That's the question.
That's the question. Yeah. I was just kind of working my way around that. Yeah.
We were going the gentle route there, Paul.
Just straightforward. Yeah.
Leave it to Paul. He's going straight in.
Hey, it's the Vooch, baby.
That's right. The Vooch in the house.
I just want to start to say how thankful I am to be here today, right? With everybody here, being on this show, and also being face to face with Paul and Mandy. It took all three of us to bring this very special project together, right? And I'm really honored for that. It all starts kind of with a mustard seed, right? Paul was talking about Dave, and a very good friend of mine for years. We've very, very well connected, and Dave's a huge Knots Landing fan. Huge. Probably the biggest one, Paul. All right, arguably, from what I know.
I know a few.
All right. And one day, as he mentioned, he goes, Bill, there's a gentleman on Knots Landing Facebook group, and I hope I don't break Paul's heart when I say this. I know of Knots Landing through him. He talks a lot about it. He watches a lot, but I don't watch it a lot, right? And he goes, there's a gentleman on there named Paul. He's got he writes children's books, and he wants to donate some books. And he thought, initially it was to get some books from his organization to donate to the hospital. And I'll get into that in a moment. The hospital that Isabella goes to. So initially when I first, I said, hey, Dave, if you don't mind, reach out to Paul and say, hey, can we talk? Right. I'd love to talk with Paul. And initially it really was just to get some of his Charlie Bubbles books to kids to our local hospital. And keep in mind, I'm in New York. Paul's way over there in California. So we're very far from each other. But,
yeah.
Not anymore.
We're two separate parts of the states here. And, but I never knew where that would have started. Right. So Paul and I, my background, I'm in hospitality and business. I've been for about 15 years. And I'm not really a shy guy. I'm very business minded. I get in there, I ask, I want things done, and I work with great people, always have. And
in other words, ladies and gentlemen, he's telling you he's very pushy.
So, when I wanted to get on the phone with Paul, I had a goal in mind, but it at first it wasn't about this book. It was just, hey, how do I talk to this guy and get, I want to learn and understand his organization and his story. And I also wanted to mention my story. And that was hopefully the ploy for us to work together in our organizations. And in the middle of the call, years ago when all this happened, my wife and I always dreamed. We all have these little goals and dreams in life, and we've talked and done a lot of great things that I'll get into in our organization. But one of them was, wow, it'd be cool. It would be really beautiful and special if Isabella was somehow in a children's book. We played with that very, very lightly. And when I talked to Paul, it kind of just jumped on me. And I said, hey, Paul, I remember saying, I said, Paul, would you ever think about it? I mean, maybe we could talk about it, about writing a children's book for Bella. And after telling him the story and pretty long pause. And he goes, Bill, that's a tall order. And, it was just an idea. I really wasn't pushy, but I wanted to play with the idea, and I didn't really want to push it, right? I wanted to respect his time. And again, it was to try and get some books out there. And he said, Bill, let me think about it. Give me some time. And we had a really good talk. We probably talked for 2 hours too, the first time. And
Yeah,
it
we
was,
did. We were on. Yeah.
and we connected, and I learned a lot about him and as a family man and as a father. And it wasn't just about what my goal was at the time. It was really getting to know Paul. And the reason why I mentioned I didn't really know much about Knots Landing and all that is all I knew of was Paul was a father. He had an organization. He did beautiful things. I didn't know him as an actor. I didn't know him as a TV star. Not that he was just another person, but I wanted to connect with him as a dad and as something good that we were working through. So
and that's really what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah. And I never thought of him or tried to itch my way into trying to get something out of him so it was a special thing. I was just being genuine, and he was with me. We had an amazing conversation to start that. And, him and I texted on and off a little bit, very briefly. And he said, Bill, I got this book written for you. And I'm like, wow, and that kind of really kickstarted everything with what we did. But, playing it back about 6 years ago. So just a brief kind of story to Isabella. So my wife and I have been together nearly a decade now. We were very young when we met. I'm in my early 30s. She's my first and only
lucky man.
and only ever wife, right? And I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful. We've had an amazing ride, and we're gonna have a lot more. But we were together a couple years before we actually was welcoming Isabella into the world, and it was our first child. Although about 12 years ago, I adopted a son at a year and a half, and he's now 13, which I still have in my life, which is beautiful. But I never had to have that. At the time, I never had, the pregnancy side and that whole beautiful thing with that significant other, that I'm sure all of us can relate to. So, having that and that connection with your child, was very different for me. So when I had Bella, it was still a whole new world, even though I had Carson, his name is, right? A young boy, Carson, he's 13. He was, I believe, 7 at the time when Bella would have been born. But, you know, Tab and I, we had a rough start. She had some medical conditions, some very, very rare medical conditions in the pregnancy, but, a lot of hospital stays at first. And I remember one time, we had a lot of hospital visits. So it was, checking on her and a little worried about the baby's growth, things like that. It was very new to us, in the first pregnancy. So we didn't know what to expect. We were just supporting each other through it. And I remember at about 20 weeks, our doctor at the time, very young doctor, very, very young, he said, hey, we're having trouble kind of seeing this baby's heart. Right. And again, nothing ever dawned on me. He said, we're going to send you up to Buffalo, which we live in the middle of nowhere. Right. We're in an extremely small town, about an hour and a half south of Buffalo at the time, in a town called Olean, New York, very small town. And they said, hey, we're going to send you up to Buffalo to see a heart specialist just so they can get a better view. Again, we were very naive and we didn't have a clue. It was about 22 weeks into utero, and we went to Buffalo's cardiology office, and they said, hey, they took a look and they said, hey, can we see you after? Again, we didn't really think about any of that. They put us in a little room after they checked on the baby's heart. And Dr. Pratt, her name was, we're still very well connected now. She kind of dropped the news right in front of us in the room. And that moment really was a very turbulent time for us. I mean, it was a huge bomb. Your baby is to be born with half a heart. And I had no clue, never knew what congenital heart disease was. Hey, your baby's going to be born with half a heart, congenital heart disease. Not only is it just congenital heart disease, or CHD for short, the statistic of what she was born with, it was very long diagnosis called tricuspid atresia hypoplastic right heart syndrome. And what that meant is again, she was born really without a missing chamber, just to simplify that. And she'd have she could have a good life, but she was definitely going to have a challenging life to start. Um, and I know my first question, I had two big questions I'll never forget, was to the doctor. One, could you be wrong? And two, is there any chance that she's going to have a normal life? And that's all I stuck to. And they said, hey, we're not wrong, but you know what? We can't promise you anything, but we know we have kids that are, I don't know, they're up to 20 something years old with her condition. So that's all we ever knew at that moment, was to know that we stood and fought with our daughter. And, but that very much changed everything at that point. We were still very blessed and happy, but at that point, it'll put a lot of stress in our life, to worry about the unknown. And so fast forward anyhow to October of 2019, Bella would be welcomed into the world. But prior to that, we knew that we had to surround ourselves with the best medical team I could ever imagine, doctors, nurses, and all these hospital visits that followed even before, to prepare for this amazingly fragile and crazy moment. And in October of that year, she was born. And I'm going to spare you some of this crazy details, but she was born into this world, and 2 days old, she had her first procedure, an open cath procedure, kind of open up her heart a little bit to allow a little bit more, air supply and blood mixture, right? But we were very blessed to be able to bring her home. Um, we knew things were coming, but she was actually doing very, very, very well. There are many children that don't get to go home, that don't make it past birth. So we knew that every day was treasured, very treasured. But we knew we wouldn't stop fighting, never did. And so about January of 2020, she started showing signs. We were keeping really good care of her. We had different pulse oxes and things to track her while we were home. She was a very happy baby. We had her during the holidays, and it was the most amazing 3 months of my life to be able to, have her home and my family enjoy her. And, but we knew, every day was beautiful. Right. And about late January of that time frame, we found out that, her heart was showing signs that she needed a much more invasive and larger procedure than we thought it was going to be more a little bit later in her life. And we brought her in, and she had open heart surgery. And I'll never forget the doctors and nurses. And this is, by the way, in a Strong Memorial Hospital. It's Golisano Children's Hospital in Rochester, New York. um, it's one of the leading, if not the leading, children's and heart hospitals in New York State. A lot of people travel from afar to be there. They have the best medical teams in our area. And they performed this surgery, and she came out extremely well. In fact, they said that we've never had a baby come out of this thing as well. And after about 7 days nearly, we actually were ready to be discharged to be home. And the day before, right, we got a phone call. The one time we left her bedside, it was one phone call. We went to Denny's for breakfast, kind of celebrating, and they called us and said, hey, something happened. You need to get back. And at that moment, they put her on life support for about 5 days, and we lost her. And that shattered our world. I mean, where do you go from that, right? I mean, so that was really tough for us. And there was no life in that moment. Really didn't matter. It was all about my wife and I in that moment, and it was tough. But you know, uh, what we learned is we needed, my wife and I, right? It was our hardest time, and we needed to be together and keep each other strong through that moment, like we always have. But this was big. So I was very fortunate through all of this, even now, to have an amazing family that have always stood by us, and friends, and a lot of different things to help us through this. But uh, anyways, a couple months in, we never wanted to feel disconnected for Bella. We never, we couldn't just forget about this baby that we held, and just a beautiful. You would have never known if you held or seen this baby that anything was wrong with her. I mean, she was amazing. And to have and to miss. I know some people on this call too. We've spoke that have had these moments. It's a tough thing to lose a child. Um, but all we had again was is that we had to hold on to that strength and believe that she was still with us in some manner. So, there was no script for that, but I remember my wife and I for the first year, we went to see sunsets and we're like, almost every night we just wanted to drive to the most random locations and watch sunsets. And that's where it all started. We never wanted to feel disconnected from Bella. Fast forward to the following year, Bella would have been a year old, and we said, we're still feel connected to this hospital. How do we go back to the place where our daughter was born and lost her life? How do you do that? Well, we're stronger than that. We don't want to feel disconnected from Bella, and we started donating little bags, and we called them Bella baskets to the care teams, the nurses, doctors, and things like that. Very simple, but we wanted to go up there still to make it feel like we were there, for a better purpose. And that evolved. We again, we never wanted to feel disconnected. By the way, that was COVID timeframe, right? We lost her in February of that year. And COVID, although it started in around the time she was born, it didn't really hit the States until what? March of that year. The world changed in February for me, but the world changed for everybody in March in COVID. And that was even harder for us too, because then, you would think where you'd really need more people and support, everybody was secluded to their own home. And
Sure. Yeah.
that was tough,
Right.
right? So it was even more challenging for us to be able to get out there and not be near our families. We're all worried about getting each other sick or, this whole thing in the world. But, fast forward to the hospital in October, there was also challenges to be able to even donate and get up there because, they were protecting the children and everybody there. And anyhow, we've always been working through those challenges. It was very tough. In fact, it was really tough at first with that hospital to say, hey, we want to be able to give back in memory of our daughter. That's tough to present that to other families that have children that are fighting. Like, how do you, do that? So, with this book too, just to tie back for that a minute, we still had that challenge when we came back up. In fact, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, we went up and donated $100 to the hospital. And, they're very careful.
Boy.
They're very careful with how they donate them because they can't just hand them out like candy because there is a very sad ending to the story. It's a beautiful, sentimental ending, but you can't just hand a book to a mom and a dad that are fighting. They don't want to think about the possibility, right? So we're still dealing with that now, but we've grown our relationship much, much over the years with that hospital. And we do a lot more than that too. In fact, in February of this year, during National Heart Month, we also visit annually now. We do a huge
Well, just
Sorry.
interject for a moment. It's the reality of life that it's not going to, most of it's not going to end. I mean, most people that have this,
Mhm.
that was the challenge in it. Like, do I do the happy, Wizard of Oz, click your heels 3 times and Isabella's cured, right? And that's not that's not the reality.
And I'm sorry, I didn't actually really because I talk like because I know so much
No,
about
but
it.
I'm saying I
Yeah.
understand. But I mean, for me, the challenge was to do. How do I do this in a way so that it's somewhat ethereal?
I think
Go ahead.
Tammy Dever, who is an amazing friend of our show, has chimed in, and I think she kind of sums up kind of where you're going with this, Paul. She says, "Hey guys, I'm a 30-year publishing veteran, book designer, and author. I know it takes more than logistics to do a book. It takes heart, and it's an emotional journey. May God bless and well done." And Paul, I think that's kind of what you're referring to is the emotional journey that you were going through with this as well.
Yeah. I mean, I was taken from what Bill had told me and described to me, and then I was trying to see myself. How would I go through this, or what would I do? And then I had to actually transfer that to Charlie. How is Charlie going to be of service here? You see, you know what I mean? So, I had a different ending. I mean, I came up with, the blustery, it's great, and everybody comes out of this happily ever after. But the reality, and it's a child, so I'm hoping that I handle it with some sensitivity, that it wasn't just, oh, she's gone. The way I try to present it was that she's not really gone. She's going to another place.
Yeah.
She's in the bosom of the Lord. You know what I mean? She's going to
That's
look
right.
down upon all the other children. Maybe I didn't achieve it to that degree, but I certainly tried.
No, Paul, I,
Well done.
you
Yes.
certainly did.
I think
When we were talking initially from start to finish, to be able to capture again, the beautiful journey, as you guys say, right? Life is not easy. It's not always perfect, right?
No,
We read these children's stories that are all about a happy ending. And, I know the story, the true, well, not the true, it is a true story, but the story behind Hearts and where we came from is a tough journey. But what I was getting at too is, we've had our challenges in life through this, and to be able to get to where we are here today, we've been a nonprofit organization now for nearly 5 years. I believe we started it roughly that process anyhow about a year after, we lost her, and we always knew we wanted to do something bigger. And actually, again, it was to give back. It was to raise awareness about congenital heart disease, but also it was about sharing Bella's picture, her story, and about that fight and helping others that are also fighting. So, there was no script. There's not, it was always how can we or what can we do to honor Isabella, but to give back and connect with others in different ways. And, over the years, we do a lot of fundraising events locally. We raise anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 at one big heart raiser event, we call it, very much focused around the heart community. We do
well, I
scholarship
got to get you in here to
children.
LA and do a fundraiser for
Yeah.
me, because I certainly could use the help.
Well, I mean, the book was very expensive too, and I'm so blessed that because of what we do, we were able to bring this to life in many ways, even on the financial side, because I know that's a challenge. And fast forward to now through all we've done, yeah, we do a lot over the years, and we have a lot of great support, and we pour our hearts out, and a lot of people feel the message that it's not just about a tragic story. The ending to her story is never ending per se. She lost her life, but the impact she has helps others. It's helped me be who I am today now, a better dad, a better father, a better friend, to be able to give back and do what we
The
do,
Charlie
you know.
Bubbles tenants right there.
that's
And
it.
it was a beautiful unison between our organizations because really, I think we were talking about fate and everything. You know, Paul and his son, and to be able to donate books and the story of him being such a great dad and to connect like that. That's very touching too, and to be able to not just call up an author and write a book, to be able to work with somebody like Paul and even Mandy too, that you could tell put their heart into the story and the images and the whole book.
Absolutely.
Um, it's a different kind of feeling and message and mission here that has come full circle because we didn't just write a book. It really was a beautiful thing with
Yeah.
his organization for his son, that series, but also for Isabella. And I'm very honored to be able to work with Paul and to know it all. It just started with a tall order, but here we are. So
And
um,
at
thank you
hand
again, Paul and Mandy.
at
I
at
really
hand
Thank you,
at
Bill.
hand T41 has chimed in, and Bill, this is going to piggyback off what you said. They just made a simple comment. Beautiful book.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you.
I mean, it's just, uh, what, and I know this sounds odd, but you guys have given such a gift to other families that are going through this, and just the amount of care coming from the hearts of everyone on the show is just amazing tonight. So,
Fantastic, fantastic story.
I don't know the right word to say here, except thank you so much to everyone.
Make sure you get this, folks. It's out on Amazon. Charlie Bubbles Braveheart, and it is definitely a tribute for Isabella, and it is a touching, emotional book. I teared up very, very easily with reading it, but was touched at the same time by the story. So please buy the book and support these organizations. Real
Bill,
quick, all three of you guys, before we let you go, let us know where we can follow information about you and your organizations and what you do.
Go ahead, Bill.
The best way to thank you, Paul. The best way to find us and what we do is called Hearts for Isabella on Facebook.
Okay.
We do have a website too, but Hearts for Isabella on Facebook is, where we really post and show all we do, right, for our organization and in her memory. And we also have an email too. We love talking with people and connecting with other heart families. I know a lot of us could be affected by congenital heart disease in any corner of the world. So we're more than just supporting that. We love talking with other moms and dads and anybody connected in that way or grieving, right? We're here to support other parents too. So
Get this book; it'll help.
But the book is touches on grief, and it's a beautiful message from Charlie and Bella. So thank you both again.
Mandy, how about you?
I'm on Instagram, Mandy Del Rio 82. I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty simple.
You just cracks me up. It's so good to see you, Mandy.
It's great to see you.
Do you have any projects that you're working currently, you and your husband, for us to kind of watch for?
Yeah, we do. We show run a docu-series on Newsmax. And so we do basically, it's called Newsfront, and they're very news-based documentaries.
Okay.
So we're, I guess be on the lookout if anybody watches that. And we don't, everything we do is fact-based. We don't like to slant anything. We're not even allowed to. I mean, that the network doesn't like us to slant anything. We wouldn't anyway. But anyway,
they don't want your own opinion involved. It's all about the facts. Just the facts, ma'am.
Now that's a true Vooch moment right there. Just the facts, man.
All right.
Mandy, I will say this before Paul goes. If you ever want to do a documentary about two old guys that don't know what they're doing on a podcast, we're in.
No, we like and appreciate Mandy so much. We don't want to put them out of business. So.
That would never get published, but it'd be a fun project on the side.
I'm going to say that in the book there is a page, pretty much a dedication to Bill and his wife, and on that page we tell everybody where they can get in touch with Hearts for Isabella and the Facebook. I'm no longer on Facebook, which is a drag because I've been sidelined from Facebook. Like in one day I got 5 people trying to hack into my account, and I didn't answer it quick enough. And Facebook, you can't talk to anybody. It's all prompted, and you have to pick and choose whatever the thing is. So I'm off Facebook. Been off it for a while, which is a bit of a drag because that's was my biggest platform as far as followers go. But you can find me on Instagram at Charlie Bubbles Books, and of course on YouTube at Charlie Bubbles. We have a lot of videos up there, and we have Sing for Charlie Bubbles, which you can find on iTunes and Amazon, and the books, of course, are up at Amazon. And I suppose you can get them in many other places, but Amazon's where it's all happening, apparently.
Yeah, that's the easiest place.
And Bill, I'm gonna. Tammy shared one more thing for you. Bill said, "God bless you, Bill. I cherish the thought of your family reunited in the presence of the Lord one day." Amen.
Yeah,
very well said.
Amen.
Thank you, Tammy. Tammy, we'll see you next week and talk about your '80s book that she just put out.
Bill, also,
so Tammy will be our guest.
If it would be okay with you, Bill, I would like to add you as a member of our sponsors. It's no cost or anything, but we mention your organization a shout out every week after the show. Yeah. If you're okay with that, I would love to take care of that, and that way we can make sure we're trying.
Good on you, boys.
I would be honored. Thank you guys so much.
So we'll make that
Thank
happen
you.
for sure. All right, DH, another one in the books, man. And
Oh, man, a
what an
great one.
honor to be
And
with these great folks
oh,
tonight.
this is one of those shows, DC. When we started this thing 5 years ago, number one, I never thought we would get to meet
Heck
someone
no.
like Paul,
And we haven't got any
or
better.
Mandy or Bill, but you know, Paul does an amazing job. Yeah, we're not going to get any better.
No.
We know that.
No.
Paul's become an amazing friend to the show, and
Yes, he has.
you know, when we started this 5 years ago, we said if we ever get to the point, which we didn't ever think that would happen, that we would be able to give back and just kind of be associated with organizations that we could try to help out. That's one thing we wanted to do. I think it's extremely important that we do this type of show, which is a little different than our normal show, because
Sure it is.
this has been such an amazing show. I want to thank you all for
Absolutely it
joining
has.
us. Paul,
Listen,
there's not
guys,
enough-
you guys are great, and I appreciate you having all of us on together. I suggested it because I thought, the whole story is just like kismet. I mean, the fact that we're all of us together, that the heart of Isabella runs through all of us, as well as the
Absolutely.
Charlie Bubbles heart. So
Absolutely.
Yes.
we've all been blessed and touched in this instance, and it's because of Bill, the pain in the ass that he is.
Oh.
Yeah, and Paul, I was going to tell you, I really appreciate everything you do. You're an amazing individual,
Yep.
and we truly appreciate you
I'm
being
just
part of the D&D family.
Listen,
And
yeah.
now Mandy and Bill, either congratulations or condolences, because you're now official members of the D&D Dynamite family. So,
That's right.
Oh, don't worry, people. They'll be bothering you.
Paul,
we'll
don't
be
steal the
bothering
show,
you.
all right?
Yeah, don't worry, we'll be bothering you.
Hey, listen, before I go, can I say, because you guys are such all in the right moves fans, and that this has kind of brought us together somehow, and some other time you can tell the story, but I just want to say that my son is playing baseball at GCC right down the street, same field he's been playing on through high school, and they're number 5 in the state. It's a great team, and it's the first time in his little baseball career that he's had to really fight. He's usually, he was made all city. He missed his junior year with the knee. He had I think it's OCD. What he had, so he had to have. He missed the whole year. He had 2 operations. It was a nightmare for us. But he's playing, and so he, in his senior year, he made all city and won the batting title and RBI title, and he's a very good ball player. And but now he's on this team where he's kind of third position. You know what I mean? There's a guy that's 20 that was played at a D1 school that's come back. He's a big guy, big power. And then there's a kid from a very prestigious private school. And then there's Charlie from CV High School down the street, and nobody's ever made it onto this team from his high school. So, he's struggling and he's upset, and he's saying, I'm only getting a DH here and there, and but he's killing it. And I said to him, I've gone down there and watched, son. Ain't nobody on that field better than you. You got to just keep fighting.
There you go.
Yeah,
Fight.
amen. Yes.
Okay. So one day he's talking to the third base coach, and the third base coach says, where do you live, Charlie? And Charlie goes, I live right up the street. And the guy goes, oh, that's fantastic. You're right by the school. Lucky you get to eat home cooked meals, sleep in your own bed. And the coach says, I live right down on Boston Avenue. And he goes, oh, yeah. So what's your mother do? Well, my mother's a hairdresser, and she has a shop right on Honolulu Street, and la, la, la. And then it gets to, what does your father do? And he goes, oh, my dad's an actor. He goes, really? Has he been in anything I've seen? And my son goes, well, do you like the 80s movies? Which I was a little pissed off about, because I've worked in 4 decades, but
Right.
it started in the 80s, so I'll give him that. And he said, I love the 80s movies. Well, my dad's in a lot of movies from the 80s, but one of the movies is called All Right Moves. And the coach goes, All Right Moves? That's my favorite movie. Who did your father play? And he goes, Vinny Salvucci. And the coach goes, the Vooch comes to single field? And I said to my son, he just moved up a round.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So that was my, it never goes away. So
It
at least
does.
maybe it'll help him now.
Oh, can you guys hold tight as we kind of wrap it up here with our sponsors and all that? We want to
Sure.
do our shout outs, and Mandy and Paul and Bill, it's been an honor.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, it's great.
The best to all of you in your
Yes.
ventures, and
Merry Christmas, everybody.
absolutely.
Yes.
Happy
Merry
holidays to all of you guys.
And all,
Yeah.
all of you out there, everybody out there, come on.
Get a book.
Christmas.
Get a book.
Get a book.
Get a book. I got my copy. That's for
Hey,
sure.
Dale and Dave, could you
Yes.
just for your audience, I just want to thank you guys again for having us. And could you share just the back cover of that book, just so everybody sees a picture of?
Yeah, let's
If you
look
don't
at
mind. There you go.
So
Thank you
beautiful.
so
How
much.
precious. What a beautiful,
She is so
beautiful
beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much again.
What an angel. What
Thank
an
you.
angel.
What an angel.
Absolutely.
God bless you guys. all of you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All of you. Fantastic. We appreciate your time. Yeah, if you can hang right here, we want to give a shout out to these great folks that support us. And DH, next week we got Tammy Dever, who was on the
Oh man.
on
Yes,
the
Tammy.
fantastic. She is a
Yes.
author as well, and we'll talk
Tammy
about
is amazing.
a children's book she did about the 80s decade. So, yeah, we'll talk about
Is
it
the Vooch
yesterday.
in that? Is the Vooch in one of these?
We've got to get the Vooch
We'll
in.
have to get the
She's gonna-
Vooch in.
That's
Tammy,
right.
Tammy, we have to get the Vooch in there. But it really is. It's an amazing book. We're going to talk more about it next week. But when you go through, there's actually things like right over here, there's goody two shoes. So it's all linked.
Right.
There's a lot
Word
of links to 80s
associations
songs.
and yeah.
And I love it because we'll go through it with the grandkids and I'll play the songs as we go, and it's just so much fun for them. But yeah,
So cool.
but folks, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. What an amazing show! I can't thank you all enough for sharing the story of Isabella and coming on. And,
Bless all of you guys.
Bless you all, and folks, check out these organizations. We're going to go through them again at the end when we talk about sponsors. I'll do that here in just a second. But as I always end off before I send it over to DC, folks, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. So always be kind to each other. Out
Amen,
there.
brother.
DC?
Amen. Let's get those sponsors.
Let's do it.
D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, PJG Marketing, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at rileyroads.art on Instagram, and the Magic Yarn Project. You can find all these great folks online. Most certainly.
Yes,
Check them
yes,
all out,
yes.
our fine friends.
And folks, we want to give a shout out this time of year, well, all times of year, but especially this time of year. Like I said earlier in the show, when we started this thing 5 years ago, we thought if there's ever a way we could help out and give something back, we wanted to do that. We have been blessed to be associated with some amazing individuals and organizations. I'm going to give a shout out, normally two, but I'm going to go ahead and add a third one tonight.
Yeah.
So we have that on there. The first one is the Magic Yarn Project, and what these people do, it's volunteers all across the nation. They hand knit head coverings like princes and superheroes, and all that,
yeah.
and they donate them to kids that are battling cancer for free.
Oh, yeah.
And those head coverings make such a difference for
Fantastic
those
people.
families. So it whether it's prayers, monetary donations, positive thoughts, whatever you want to send these organizations, please do that. Then, of course, our buddy Paul,
Vooch.
Charlie Bubbles
Yep.
Cares for Kids. And what these folks do, when you make donations, they provide books for young kids. And, you know, a
At
lot
no
of these
cost
kids
to
may,
them.
at no
Yep.
cost to them. A lot
Yep.
of these kids may not have been able to get these books. And as teachers, we know how important literacy is at a young
Sure.
age. So please reach out, support them. Paul, thank you so much for what you
Appreciate
do
it, my
there.
friend.
Thank you,
And-
fellas. Really, I really appreciate you two knuckleheads.
Yeah, that's right. And we're adding this in, and Bill's on here, Hearts for Isabella.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've heard the story tonight. The organization does some amazing things. He talked about giving back to the hospital and some things like that. Bill, thank you for what you do.
Yeah.
And folks, we just ask that, if you are considering, please help one of these organizations. Buy the book right
Absolutely.
there. Paul, note on Tammy. She said if you want to endorse the book, she'll let you do that. So we'll put the Vooch in there as an endorsement for her book.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Spread
So,
the Vooch.
The Vooch is
Spread
in.
the Vooch.
But again, that's not what you want to say to a proctologist. So
I got to go for a colonoscopy next
Right.
week. So.
There you go.
Sorry,
I
that
mean,
just
yeah,
came
the
to
hits
mind.
just keep on coming. Baby.
Just
They
keeps
keep on
going, keeps
coming.
going. But
Oh.
I can't thank you enough. Bill, you and I are going to connect afterwards and everything on that. So I really appreciate everything. Appreciate what y'all have done. Best wishes to you all. I hope
Yep,
all of your families
absolutely.
have a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Love to have all of you back on at any time and just talk.
Well, it would be a good time, and I'll say this on behalf of Bill, since he put me on the spot. I think in June, it's June, right, Bill? That you do the big fundraiser back
Yep.
east.
First weekend.
Yeah. So first, go ahead, tell him.
Yep, first
What is
weekend of June.
So maybe.
Yep.
So when we come around to that, we should maybe,
Let's-
fellas.
Yeah.
do another
Let's
show.
do that.
Sure.
Yes,
Sure.
let's
Be glad to
Maybe
do
we'll
that.
do it live. We'll do it live from.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be
Yes.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
How's
We
that?
can work
I'd
that
love
out.
to.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We would
Yeah,
love to do
so-
that. So we'll make that work. We'll get that set up. So yes, but again, thank you all so much for tonight. Like I said,
And don't forget to watch Mandy's documentaries
Yes.
on Newsmax.
yes.
Absolutely.
And hey, breaking news,
Thank
Mandy's
you
going to be
very
doing a documentary on D&D Dynamite 80.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna
No.
make sure to get your wall too. I love all the stuff on your wall, the nerds. That is so cool.
Hey, I'm on the wall. I'm up there on the
Are you
wall.
really?
What do you mean, nerd?
You're on the shelf right behind. See, there you
Oh.
go.
There you go.
There's the boot.
Nice.
We got
Oh,
the
look at
boot.
that handsome boy.
Hey, it's all signed and everything.
Yeah.
I feel important. Listen,
I
Paul,
have
you-
the Vooch hanging right behind me all the time.
Oh, there you go.
You know you
There
made
you
it,
Yeah,
Paul.
but believe me, he was hanging behind you all the time. So
you know you made it, Paul, because you're right beside Ozzy on the shelf.
There you
That's
go.
cool.
There you go.
That's
All
really
Or
right.
actually, we know
all
Ozzy.
aboard.
There you go. We know Ozzy made it because he's beside the Vooch, because the Vooch takes
Right.
priority.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Bill, if you will do this, go ahead and just email me your information since we're on live. And if I cut it off, we wouldn't be able to talk to you.
Oh, that's
So
right.
just-
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So at dnddynamite80s@gmail.com.
You
And
can get
then-
all that information in the book, DC.
Yeah.
There's a whole page dedicated to Bill and his wife.
Okay.
And
All right.
yeah, it's
So
all
we'll
there,
we'll
right?
get that information over to DH, your phone number and all that stuff.
Yeah, and
for-
Bill,
for
we'll
him.
we'll connect and
Yeah,
kind of
then
talk too.
then you
So,
guys
yeah.
can connect. So
Absolutely.
all right.
Thank you, Joe.
So we appreciate it. So for the Vooch, Paul Carafotes, and Mandy and Bill, we appreciate your time tonight. It was a great show.
Yeah.
And like I said, a happy holidays and the best to you guys. Hopefully we can catch
you
up
too,
again
fellas.
sometime.
Everybody.
Yeah,
I
you
know.
guys-
Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
everybody.
Merry Christmas,
DH,
everybody.
good one, brother. See you
Yes,
next
sir.
week.
What
All
an
Good
right.
job,
amazing one.
fellas. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.